Henderson out. Get the bot in here and get our Discord posted. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is October 3rd, and this is the October 3rd Text Quest Devstream. So, today we're going to be continuing our work on the ASCII animation system. I have made a little bit of progress since Tuesday. I have animations looping, and I have them. I have support for playing random animations. So when, for example, the king is talking here, he randomly picks between blinking and not blinking for his animation. Um, it's a little awkward right now just because the frame rate is staggered in such a way that it's a kind of weird thing to do. So all this is his head shake animation. Then after that, we go into our talking animation. You can see I got some debugs coming out there explaining which clip is playing. So we're getting through here. We're saying there's our blink one. When it comes, basically once it finishes one eye animation, it re-rolls to see if it should, well, not if it should play another one, but what other animation it should play. There's only two. It's either not blinking or it is blinking. I probably should make the not blinking one be a little bit longer, and I can actually cheat on that a lot. But you can see here that the blinking animation plays at twice the frame rate as the standard animation. It's a little hard to tell, but you can kind of see when they sync up that it's about halfway through there. Also, the weight right now is 0.5 for the blinking animation, which means that there's a 50% chance that the king's going to blink there. And since the other animation is only one frame long and only lasts 1 second, it means every second that he doesn't blink, there's a chance that he'll blink, basically, which is probably need to dial that in a little bit, but that's pretty easy to do, actually. If I come down here to random ASCII, I just have a simple wait, and this is just going between two different clips. Ideally, I would want to make that a little bit more advanced and have an arbitrary number of clips, but for now, I'm just kind of winging it here. So if I wanted to make this probably be a little bit more realistic, I would change this to something like 0.15. Just because it's... Actually, I might make it... Yeah. So basically what's happening here is there's a random value that's getting rolled, and wow, really, it's still doing it, even with that waiting. I guess that makes sense, considering the other one only lasts for one frame. But basically what this is doing is it's if a random value, which is a random value between 0 and 1, is rolled and it's less than or equal to this weight, it's going to play clip 1, otherwise it's going to play clip 2. Clip 2 is just the eyes open. So that's where we are currently. I would like to do a couple of things with the animation system itself first, and then I would like to try to hook this into the conversation system to make that more apparent. So first things first, I need to open up random ASCII animation. I need a way to stop random clips because I currently cannot do that, and I need to be able to do so. Also, this is not a concern right now, but the animation system that we're building here relies on Coroutine Manager, which if we jump over here to let's close some of our stuff here, ASCII animation base, you can see here that we use Coroutine Manager, which is just a utility class that I've written to allow non-mono behavior classes to launch coroutines. And what it's doing basically is when we start a coroutine, it puts that coroutine into a list and then keeps track of that. Now the problem is that I don't really remove this coroutine when we're done, which is a little awkward. Probably I need to either not track my coroutines, which honestly it doesn't really seem like I need to do anyway. All I'm really doing is just putting them in a list. So this is probably a non-issue, honestly. I think I can just remove this. So let's go ahead and... So I'm not going to worry about that for now, but that's something that I did notice, and I did jot it down because it could lead to something at some point, but I'm not too worried about it right now. All right. So we're going to get back here to random ASCII animation. We need a way to stop this animation because our default way of stopping it is to pass in um, a either the label, which will then spool through all the labels to find the coroutine that's going, and then it'll stop it. Or we can actually pass in this coroutine, but currently random ASCII animation is not storing that, so we need to basically override that stop animation. So we're going to say override stop animation. We're going to give it the coroutine, and we are basically just going to go down to here, and if we stop this, if we say that's equal to null, okay. So I'm just going to call stop coroutine on both of those things, based on both of these clips. So we're going to go ahead and instead of calling base.stop animation, because we can't really do that, we're just going to call clip 01.stop animation. And we're going to give it the animation coroutine, and then we're just going to do clip 02.stop animation coroutine. It is impossible for both of those things to happen to be the same, but there's no harm in me calling it on both. So that's actually as simple as we needed to do, I think. So just to be sure, I am going to test this. I'm going to come over here to ASCII animator test. We're going to have another coroutine down here. We're going to say private enumerator delay coroutine, and I'm just going to go ahead and say yield return new wait 4 seconds. Oops, not wait for end of frame. Wait 4 seconds. We'll just give it 1F. Also, what is wait 4 seconds? Oh, that's real time. Okay. Interesting. That's how you do unscaled time. That's worth knowing. Then we're gonna go ahead and say we're gonna do animator dot stop. Ooh, right. Okay. So we're gonna need to cache this and then pass it in. Oh. Wait. Oh. Wait. This has gone all wrong. Hold everything here. So this is calling animator.start animation. The callback going down to here. We call animation. Oof. Well, that was a mistake now, wasn't it? Ah, we just did it on this one. Okay, that's right. So false alarm. This is not as crazy as it sounds. But it does need to return that animation. So if we come over here to our conversation avatar animator, we get our animation, and we get our animation coroutine right here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to get rid of play animation coroutine and all of that, because it doesn't need to be handled like that, and it should not be handled like that. We're going to go over here to ASCII animator. We are going to get rid of this animator. We're going to come back down to here, and instead we're going to say animation coroutine, which honestly I don't think I should even keep track of. Well, no, it's fine to keep track of. But we are going to say is equal to animation dot start animation. Right, that's not going to work. Yeah, that's all kinds of awkward now, isn't it? All right, so that needs to be an abstract function, basically. Cool. So this is going to be abstract then. Boom. Coroutine. Abstract. And so is stop animation. Okay, so both of those are now abstract. Current animation itself is fine. Both of these I think are okay to keep in there. Let's hop over here to, we said that's going to return a coroutine. here. This is going to be coroutine. We're going to go ahead and say excuse me, had to sneeze. All right. So if current animation is equal to animation name, um, we get to do the fun part. Crud. Ho, 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 ho. That is not great. And also, is the animator abstract? Okay, good, it is. So, oh boy. So that's going to be the case if it's currently playing that animation, then we're just going to play current animation. No. Animation coroutine. This is where it gets a little weird. We don't want to actually invoke. We don't want to add that callback, or we don't want to invoke that callback right away. Probably I need to add. Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what to do here. Yeesh. We do have that problem too, don't we? I don't think this callback is actually invoked until we get to the bottom here, which is this is another thing that I wanted to do. To do, I think I actually have that up here. Yeah, enum flags, basically passing in enum flags to determine what animations should be considered or should be used to determine when we should stop. I'm gonna hold off on that for now. So as of right now, if this is set to loop, I don't think this ever actually ends until we manually terminate it, which is a little awkward, but if it's set to loop, that's probably what we want to do anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do so animator.stop animation. We are going to. Well, we're going to wait because we got to finish this up real quick. I'm for now just going to not do anything here. Stop animation. Animation coroutine. Okay, we're going to say return animation coroutine, and then else we will return null. No reason for me to have that else there. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and say override void stop animation. And we're just going to say, oh man, that is awkward. Because we need to reference it. Which means that I need to say, so if not string dot is null or empty, animation, you know what, we'll just do it the easier way. So if animation coroutine does not equal null, then we're going to go ahead and say get animation up. I don't do that, do I? I'm going to say controller dot get animation conversation ASCII animation current animation dot stop animation coroutine, and then we're going to say current animation is equal to none and animation coroutine is equal to null. I keep sneezing. All right, so that should handle stopping our animations, in theory. Stop animation. Yeah, you should work. And this, I believe, do I have a stop animation? I have not set this up yet, which means that it's going to default to this. And that's not quite what we want to do. Also, for this, I'm pretty sure we're not actually using this anywhere. ASCII.length. Okay, so yeah, we can get rid of that. And we can get rid of you. Excuse me. Alright. So, I'm dying. Apparently. Alright. So we're going to start that animation. We need a... I don't want a callback, but I do want the coroutine. So we're going to say coroutine, and then coroutine is equal to that. This is going to take a coroutine, so coroutine, and then coroutine. Then we're going to say start coroutine, delay coroutine, and then coroutine, do. And then coroutine. Ah, right. That is pretty funny. I suppose that's fine. We come over here to conversation, stop animation, stop animation. I guess that takes care of it for us. So if we come back over to here, we can say override stop animation. Right. So we do need to do that because this is going to play, yep, with all those things, which is fun because that means, oh boy, we need to go down here to ASCII animator. I'm sorry, no, ASCII animation base. And we basically need to copy this code over, which sucks so hard. Get rid of you and you. We're going to use the head label as the primary label. Come down to here to conversation ASCII animation. We're going to come back over to here. Boom. Okay. So head label, head label, head label. Okay, and this is going to be this whole thing. Which should be fine, actually. Also, back here on ASCII animation base. That makes sense. So we're going to come back down to here. So, oh boy. We're going to change this. So we're going to take a callback there. Which means I'm not going to take one there. And instead, we're going to copy over from our ASCII animation here. We got to do all this fun stuff. And we get to do that at the end of our animation down here. And then we get to say head label for this. Oh, right. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward there. You know, as far as this is concerned, I think that's actually fine. I don't think we need to overdo anything there. Stop animation. I suppose we'd just call base.stop animation head label. Pretty much. I think that's all we need to do. But just to be safe, yes, that's fine. We don't need to track any of these, so I think we're fine. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come over here. We're going to stop animation, and then I'm going to go ahead and call, actually that might not even be necessary. I'm just going to call animator.start animation. animation and m.animation. I'm not going to have a callback. I'm just going to do that once. And if I am thinking of this correctly, I don't even really need to do that because we call stop animation there. So I can probably just do that. So we're going to have him shake his head, talk for 1 second, and then shake his head again, and then we'll be done. Phew. That is so very stressful. So let's see if we can get that to work. Okay. It is going to be interesting that we have to like basically cascade through here. Just curious. Can we even do that actually? Oh goodness. I don't know if we can. No. Because this is the animation coroutine. Oh dear. Oh dear. Dear oh dear. Right. So that wouldn't stop it because it's going to try to pass in the main coroutine, but not the child coroutines, which I have to manually track. Oh dear. Um. Hmm. Yep. That is not good enough. I have to make a dictionary of coroutines and lists of coroutines. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. So that means that this has to change. We're going to say private dictionary coroutine. This is going to be so sloppy. Coroutine and then a list of coroutines. So these are going to be animation coroutines is equal to that. That is actually not what I want. I want it to be two separate things like I'm doing before. Yep. So this needs to be private list coroutine. Parent animation coroutines is equal to new list coroutine. Private list coroutine. Child animation coroutines is equal to new list coroutine. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that sucks so hard. I need to associate this coroutine with child coroutines, but I can't do that because I need to pass that coroutine into this coroutine that is itself. Oh boy. Things just got so complicated. Yeah, it's not okay. Um, yeah, it's not great. Um, so coroutine and coroutines won't work. I do have to keep track of this coroutine still, but it won't work the way that I want. Oh boy. Of course, this got complicated again. So I need something else instead. I need a unique identifier for that coroutine. I do not know. Yeah, so the stop animation won't work. What can I do here? I can make a new GUID for each one. That would kind of coincide. Then I could use this would be a dictionary of a GUID and a list of coroutines. And then this would be a list of coroutines, and then we would have a list of GUIDs. That would allow me to reverse engineer, which is hideous and terrible. Oh man, that's very, very painful to me. Yeah. Okay. So this has to change a lot. Okay. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Yep. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. In fact, have to do that. Well, hold on. Time out. Could I do list of the objects again? Sort of like what my animation labels are doing. So list of my TextMesh Pro texts. Um, that would technically work, but it would not properly keep track. No, it would. Okay, that would allow me to do that. Okay, I think I know what I need to do then. So I want a dictionary. So I don't need a new list for my parent animation coroutines. Those can be fine. I do need to have a new list for the child animation coroutines because those are no longer valid. So animation labels and animation coroutine are fine. Now I just need to have a list of list coroutines. That's still fine. Okay. All right, I think I got this. It's super weird, but I think I've got this. So we are going to do this in a slightly out of order. We're going to say child animation coroutines.add new list coroutines. So it's going to be a new list. And then we're going to say in our start coroutines here, oh boy, this is where it gets to be all kinds of fun. We are going to say, yep, this is going to be gross. Okay. Trying to think about this. I think we're going to need indexes for these, which is gross. So we're going to need to say int head index is equal to -1. Int eyes index is equal to -1. Int mouth index is equal to -1. We get all these fun things. We're going to need to say child animation coroutines of animation labels dot index of head label. Okay. And then we get fun. We're going to say dot add head coroutine. We're going to do that 2 more times, one for the eyes and one for the mouth. And here's where it gets fun. We are going to, oh man, do we need to keep track of them? I really don't know. So here's the thing. When we finish this other coroutine, I'm actually not sure if it's immediately going to go away. So we might not need these 3 things. I'm going to try to do this. So I'm going to say if replay head, we're going to say child animation coroutines. It's going to be this whole thing. Dot remove, and we're going to pass in head coroutine. And then then we're going to call add here. So we're basically going to do that for each one. Will that work? Yes, that will work. I believe. Okay. There is the chance that this is null, at which point my entire plan will crumble, but we'll see. Actually, just out of curiosity, I can't type head coroutine dot. Okay, so I could get a hash code. That's a little iffy though. Okay. So let's try that. And then we get to do the fun thing. So this needs to be overridden completely. Stop animation can't really function the way that the base one does. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here to ASCII animation base. All this does is call that version of it. So we are going to basically do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and come down here. Come up here to ASCII animation here. We're just going to paste that as is. Then we're going to go up to here, and we're basically going to do the same thing. Okay. So if animation coroutine is equal to null, then we'll return. If it is contained in our animation coroutines, then we'll be able to stop animation and just call that right there. Almost. This is where things get. So this needs to change. Right. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'm going to say public void stop. I'm sorry, not void. Override stop animation. We got to give it the label. That's all fine. I'm going to rename this to head label at least. Okay. So we're getting rid of our callbacks, and we're getting rid of our labels and our animation coroutines. Now we need to do the same for our child animation coroutines. So we need to do this. We're going to say, before we get rid of these, we're going to say okay, so we already have the index. So I'm going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than child animation coroutines of index, I believe, dot count I plus plus. And all we're going to do here is say if child animation coroutines of index does not equal null and child animation coroutines at index.count is greater than 0, I guess. We'll just check if it's null. We don't need that secondary check. So if it's not null, then we want to do this for loop. And we're basically going to stop all these coroutines. So we're going to go ahead and say I need the animation. Don't die. Ah, frack! I can stop it on all of them. Gross. I don't have any way of knowing, so I have to. Cool. That just means that I get to do this gross thing. I get to say head animation dot stop animation child animation coroutines of index of I. And I get to do that for all of the labels for every single one. Eyes animation, mouth animation. Okay. Whew. I think we got it. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. Blah. That is all kinds of hard, and I'm really hoping that that works. It's super convoluted, and I do apologize for that. The reason it's so convoluted is because of the complexity of animating any arbitrary animation. Um, Turns out that building a building an animation system is actually quite difficult. Um, but I'm reasonably confident that that will do everything that I want. Reasonably confident. Not 100%, but reasonably. Alright, moment of truth. Um, so we are going to... I didn't need to change anything, did I? I think everything's still hooked up. So he should shake his head to start. So we have 1 second delay, then head shake. We already got an argument out of range exception. Okay, so where is this coming from? Coroutines. Start coroutine instance. ASCII animate. Wow, this is really tough to stroke or to find. Conversation ASCII animation line 98. It looks like. 98. Here we are. That to me implies. Right. Okay. This needs to go up here too. Yeah, I knew that that was going to be a little awkward because I can't add this animation coroutine until we get to the end, but fortunately I don't think we need it in the actual coroutine. Okay, yeah, so we are good. Yes. And then at the very end here, we're going to want to say child animation coroutines dot remove at index. Okay. Oh, and also, yes, at the end of this, we want to say child animation coroutines dot remove at index. Okay, so we have a couple of oversights that I missed. All right, I think that'll fix our problem. But yeah, when I was originally coding that line, I knew that it was going to be a little awkward because I need to have. Oh shoot, that's actually not good enough either. Um, so label has to be added before. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, as long as the head label had to be added to animation labels before the coroutine actually starts. Otherwise, as you can see when we get down to here, it's gonna try to find an index for something that's not in there. It's gonna return -1, which is gonna throw an index out of range exception, which causes all those problems. So I think all of this should be fine after that. Let's go ahead and stop and play. Oh man. Manually keeping track of coroutines is not very fun. I do not like doing that. Okay, so shake head, back, then talk. Immediately we got an index out of range exception, but it also seems like it worked. So questionable success. Remove at index. Oh, I'm assuming. Let's see here. 145. Right here. Really? Now that is interesting. Really, really, really. Honest and for true. Interesting. Why would that be? So we stop our coroutine instance. So we get our coroutines. We stop all of this. How interesting. because it also means that it got to the end of that while loop, which makes sense, I suppose. Animation callback, stop remove. Okay, we get to our animation labels, index of animation labels. Could it have failed to stop this coroutine? Okay, I'm gonna put in a debug here. I want to know when exactly that happened. I wasn't sure if that stopped from the shake, the first shake, or from the talking. Okay, so let's let that compile. So once we have this sorted out, then I think we'll have largely enough of an animation system for me to actually hook it into my conversation system, which should be pretty fun, assuming I can get my animations to work. And then after that, we would have a bunch of timeline stuff that we would try to do, which would be equally as fun, and also quite difficult. Okay, so we're going to clear this, hit play, let's see what happens. So he should get the head shake, and then 1 second of him talking, and then the head shake again. This will hopefully help us track down where exactly that error came from. Okay, so it definitely came from the shake head. So let's take a look at this again. So line 147, which is down here. So animation labels aren't being set up correctly. Start animation. Oh, right. Right, because it wouldn't. This is calling start coroutine. So this is calling start. We're doing animator.start animation. On anim finish, we are calling start animation again with the standard animation name. And that needs to change. Nope, wait, this is, we're calling it on the avatar animation. So we're going to get down to here, controller.getAnimation, grabbing the animation. Animation does not equal no. That's all fine. Excuse me. And then start animation. Okay, so we are calling the correct start animation. This is interesting because we're definitely we're definitely adding the animation or the head label to the animation labels, which is where our error is coming from. I guess I can double check to see what this is. So we're gonna just kind of check that to make sure that that head label name is correct, I guess. I'm assuming that it is. I guess it would be good to know this as well. So let's debug.log index, just so that I know what index it thinks it is, if that's -1, which I'm assuming is the case, or if it's some positive number. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and clear this, and then we're going to go ahead and hit play once it finishes compiling. If it feels like it. Okay, we get our blinking. Oh, there we go. Wait, no, it's not done. Sorry. Yep. So Head label is -1. Nope, that wouldn't make sense either. I was gonna say, is it because my animation label is in a different, like, is in a list that's value is different before I start the coroutine? But that doesn't make sense because I actually add the head label to that list before I start the coroutine. So that's not right. That's interesting, though. Let's debug. I forget if I have this right now or not. I don't. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to do string.format. And then we're going to go ahead and say we're going to go ahead and say not head labels, animation labels dot count. I want to know if it's empty for some reason. Because what's really weird about this is that it's not throwing an error up here, so this is not -1, which means that it's getting removed somewhere else. I guess something that we can do real quick just to check this. So on an inf finished, we call start animation, which we'll call stop animation right here, which is our current animation. So that's stop animation. Go to definition there. Animation. Coroutines is equal to null. We're going to say stop animation. Animation labels. Animation coroutines. Index of. That all seems correct. So this should pass in labels. It clearly gets to here, at which point something weird is up. We're stopping our coroutine instance. Animation coroutines. That means that it's finding the right coroutine too, because it's trying to stop, but it's not able to do so. So we stop that coroutine. But we don't remove the label until we get to here. Perhaps that while loop is... No, that wouldn't make sense. I guess I'm going to do this. At this is going to be head label dot name followed by index. That seems about right. All right, let's try that. I guess that extra debug will also let me know if that's firing before my coroutine finishes, because in that case it would kind of make sense. Still odd, just because I could see this callback firing fast, getting there before we can do anything. But it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because we start a coroutine delay. Wait. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I know what's happening here. It's because this callback is firing before I can properly remove this. All right. That is super awkward, but we got it. So this needs to move. Excuse me. Down to here. This head label will persist. so we're fine. As long as we don't reference animation labels there, I think we'll be good. Okay, so let's try it with that order. That was the problem. So what was happening is in our ASCII animator test, when we started this animation, it was finishing, firing its finish event, which called this function, which called start animation, which then called stop animation. All of this was done before the rest of the code executed in the coroutine. So by the time it got to that label check, we had already removed it because we called stop animation. This now has the events firing at the very end of the coroutine instead of in the middle, and that will hopefully fix this problem. I say hopefully, but it should. Tiny oversights like that will be the bane of your existence, especially when doing system design like this. Okay, so blink, shake head, and okay, nice and good, cool. So I'm going to just real quick. I'm going to make a pretty basic like blank idle. That's just going to be the king basically standing still and then blinking. So we're going to go ahead and go up here. We're going to create a new folder. We're just going to make this like idle. Say create SOS text quest ASCII conversation animation conversation ASCII idle. Okay. Go ahead and call this idle. I'm going to use the randomize from this. Oh, that's the wrong thing. We're going to make a new create SOS ASCII animation. I'm going to make this like idle. It's not going to loop. I'm just going to call this idle head. It's just going to have one thing of ASCII. We're going to come back down to here. Boom. We're just going to do that. Oh, so I could have reused that, honestly. Come up to here, put you here. We're going to come over to here, assign you as the head. And the mouth is going to also just be from shake head. Because this... Oh, no, no. It does need to be something different. So we're going to create SOS text, not text quest, ASCII animation. This is going to be idle mouth. I can rename this idle head. Idle mouth. I think it's literally just that. Put this in right here. We're going to go ahead and have that loop. Frame rate of 1. Not that it really matters. Yeah, you're okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new, we're going to say public ASCII animation selector, and m3 is equal to new. There. So at the end here, we're just going to make this an m3 animation. Phew, that is pretty ridiculous, all that effort. And we need to add that to our controller still. So let's go ahead and add our idle right as it compiled, because that's always the way. Let's see what happens. It's going to be either something amazing or something terrible, or something mundane. It will be one of those three things. All right. So we're going to pop back over to here. We're going to grab our king profile. Go ahead and grab this, pull it in. We're going to make this idle. All right. So it should work. So basically what should happen here is we have him shake. I'm also going to just real quick change this up a little bit. So we're going to say public float talk duration is equal to, we'll make it 3 seconds. Talk duration. Okay. Okay. So we probably should have the talking happen for a while just to make sure that we get proper uh, animation timings. I basically want to know what happens if I have it loop for a bit before I pull out. Um, I think it will be okay. I am very nervous. I'm not necessarily sure if this is actually going to be happening. I'm pretty sure that we've coded it so that it'll clean everything up. But I am a little concerned that we'll have some leakage with respect to coroutines being stored in lists. I think that won't be a problem. I think we have everything coded correctly so that it will properly clean everything up, but I am concerned about it. All right, so we hit play. We should have a 1 second delay. He'll shake his head. He'll talk. He'll shake his head again. He'll talk for 3 seconds. He'll shake his head again, and then he'll go to idle. So shake head. Talk. Okay. There we go. That's our idle. Nice. Phew. Okay. That was legitimately one of the most complicated things I think we've ever done. Okay. So, this is going to basically keep going. And it would keep going until we tell a new animation to go, basically. Whew. That was ridiculous. Okay. I need a drink. Let's see. All right. In theory, we should now have a method of doing conversation ASCII animations with our label here. My God, it was ridiculous though. All right, so I'm going to, once this compiles, clear this out. We're going to come over to here. We have our conversation avatar animator. That's good. We don't need this animation test on it anymore. We can go ahead and get rid of this. I think we're ready to test this out in our conversation. I guess that means that I'm just going to move this over to like here. Yeah, that's good. All right. So we have our test cases. I am going to just pull this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to rename this conversation avatar king. Okay. Whew. We're going to pull this over to here, make it its own prefab. We're going to jump over to the conversation test. We will save the scene, of course. I'm going to select my conversation view down here. I am going to open this up because I think I have it set up so that you have to pass in. Oh, right. It's going to be the test character here. This is what I want. Conversation data. It takes a conversation avatar, which I don't think I actually have meaning anything right now. It's nothing. Yeah. All right. So conversation avatar is, I guess, going to be a wrapper. Now that I think about it. So we're gonna jump over to here. We're gonna make this a conversation avatar. Dying. All right. So we are going to have a couple of things. I am. Now that I'm thinking about this, I'm a little worried that I can constrain myself, but I think we'll be okay. By constrain myself, I mean I'm worried that I made it like a hard-coded 3-label thing instead of an arbitrary number of labels. It probably would have been better for me to not do it like that, but what are you gonna do? All right. So we are going to need to have a reference to our animator. So I'm going to go ahead and say serialize field, tooltip, blah, blah, blah. We're going to say private um, conversation ASCII animation. You're not in the right. No, no, you are. Oh, right. It's conversation avatar animator. We'll call this ASCII animator is equal to null. We're going to call this the animator for the labels ASCII art. Okay. Then we are going to do a couple of things. We are going to want to have, I think we'll basically just need to have a start coroutine. Actually, in our ASCII animation test, did I even need this? And then I didn't, so I can just get rid of you. Do all this fun stuff. Isn't that nice? So conversation avatar. What do we want? We probably want a way to access to play animations very quickly. So we'll just put in a public wrapper, public void coroutine, I guess. Coroutine. Start animation, string animation. We're gonna need a system.action callback is equal to null. All that's gonna do is return ASCII animator. What is going on here? ASCII animator. There we go. Dot start animation. Callback. And then same thing. We're gonna have public void stop animation. I don't think we'll actually need this. ASCII animator dot stop animation, but we'll have that just in case. And the other thing we're going to want to do is I'm going to have a reference. So using TM Pro, I am going to have a list. So serialized field, tooltip, blah, 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 private, TMP text labels is equal to new TMP text of 0. I know that's not an array. Don't worry, Unity, I've got it. The labels used by this avatar. I'm also going to come down here and I'm going to say private void on enable. And we're just going to say if ASCII animator is equal to null, ASCII animator dot is equal to get component ASCII animator, I guess. I suppose I should probably make it the actual same thing. And then we're just going to come down here and say if you know, for now I'm fine just leaving it like that. I was going to do the same thing for the labels, but I'll just do that manually. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have some amount of control over a fade in and fade out. I could really use tween scripts for that. I'm thinking about it, but right. Trying to think about this. All right, we're gonna leave it like that for now. So I'm gonna come back here. We're gonna save. I'm going to close some of these because I don't really need them file for now. Right. I'm going to do this. Add callback to animations. Callbacks. Okay, we're going to come back to here. Conversation with animation. I think we're all good. We can get rid of this. Animator controller. I think we're pretty much good. So let's go ahead and we're going to come over here to conversation view. Do we have this spawning in yet? I don't think we do. So I'm actually going to let this compile real quick. So I think the next step is getting our avatar controller, or I'm sorry, our conversation avatar, to actually spawn in the conversation view and have it talk when the avatar is set to be speaking and have it idle otherwise. Oh boy, you are gonna be fun. Okay, nuts to you, I guess. Right. Huh. Interesting. So that, whatever. Did I say on validate wrong? Did I not use on validate? Did I do something stupid? I did on enable because, of course, I did on validate. Nuts to you, Unity. Yeah. So that is going to find that. I could have distracted in there in this time, but whatever. Okay. So the other thing I think that we're going to be able to do is, so we need to spawn it in when the conversation starts. For now, that's going to be a hard cut. I'm not going to worry about having it fade in. It will fade in in the long term, but for now it's fine. We're going to go ahead and hit apply here. Select there, make sure it's correct. Okay. Wow, it really did not like me hitting apply. I'm going to turn this off. Hit save. Wow, what is going on here? What is up with that lag? We're going to pop over to conversation view. We have our spawn avatar, which we are not calling currently. So we want to generate topics. I'm going to go ahead and call spawn avatar here. We'll call cleanup avatar before we do anything else. Generate topics should call cleanup topics, which means that we're going to go ahead and get that set up too. So we're going to say for int I equals 0. I is less than topic buttons dot count I plus plus. At the very bottom here, we're going to say topic buttons dot clear. Which is going to say here topic buttons of I dot on click dot remove all listeners. Should be good there. And that's pretty much all I need to do for that, actually. So we should be able to. Oh, we know we need to recycle it, obviously. Duh. So I'm going to say pool manager dot recycle topic buttons of I dot game object. That is fine. I actually don't recall if label button. I'm assuming it derives from button and doesn't have a cache game object thing. So, real quick. I'm going to go ahead and cache this because we're going to constantly be recycling these things. So I'm just going to go ahead and say private game object underscore game object is equal to null. We're going to make that hide an inspector. And then we're just going to go ahead and say here, new public game object, Wow, didn't mean to do that, but sure. We're going to say get return underscore game object is not equal to null, question mark, underscore game object, else underscore game object is equal to base dot game object. Pretty straightforward. And now I can recycle that without worry. You're all fine, right? Label showing the buttons. Text. Okay. That should handle cleaning up our topics. Pretty nice and straightforward. For this, we're just gonna totally cheat this and say, so if current avatar is not equal null, all right? Yes, it is. So avatar does not equal null. We're gonna go ahead and say, I don't really have any sort of deinitialization right now, so I'm just gonna straight up recycle it. I'm just gonna say pool manager dot recycle. Oops, recycle. If I could spell recycle, avatar.gameObject, and we're going to say avatar is equal to null. All right, so for spawn avatar, we're just going to do something real quick. We're going to say avatar is equal to pool manager dot request, and then we're going to give it the avatar. Nope, hold on. It's going to be our current data. I'm going to say data dot avatar prefab, and that's going to go over the avatar area parent. There we go. All right. Okay. Response section, initialize, output. Oh, no. Shoot. So initialize here starts playing effects, and it doesn't have a coroutine to call back. So I'm going to find all references here. There should be a character section, I think, or a speak section. Output section, text section. Oh man, maybe I made it have text effects instead. That's problematic on several levels. Okay, so this is about to get annoying because I did not set up a callback method for the speaking text, which we are going to need, obviously. So I'm going to pop down here to view conversation. Text section, conversation. It is a text section with. That's not right. Give it a second. It has to compile. We're gonna pop back over to here. Conversation data. Here we are. It is a speak section with text effects. Rumble. That all is fine. This is the problem, though. The speak section. Let's go ahead and open this up. I am fairly certain that this has a coroutine that we play, reveal characters. And shoot. I need an event to fire, something that I can listen for. Frack. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have to go to text section. I really don't want to do that. All right. I am going to add an event to the speak section that's going to be invoked when this coroutine is finished. That is going to significantly change things, though. So we're going to go ahead and come up here. I'm going to say public event system.action on, well, text revealed is equal to delegate do. It's a little awkward, but I think it'll work. So we're going to come down to here. I'm going to say text revealed.invoke. And that means that when we come over here to conversation avatar data, which is somewhere around here, find all the references. There we go. So I'm going to change this to a speak section. And that's about as good as I can get, honestly. Then we're going to come over here to conversation view. We're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to call no, that's not good enough. Nope, it's not good enough. Okay. So we got to change that. This is no longer going to be called text revealed. We're going to rename this to well, maybe we will keep that, but it has to go into our root. So we're going to go to text section. We're going to go to output section. Go to definition. We're just going to plop this right here. In initialize for, yep, this is the downside to events, is that you can't invoke them from child classes, which is so annoying. But I can do this, I believe. Yes. Which means that I can then come up to here and say override text revealed. This is the weirdest thing. I don't ever do overrides of events. That's a lie. I've done it before, which is how I know that I can do it, but it's just still awkward. Delegate. All right, then that means that down here, God, I just have to keep doing it, don't I? So we're gonna go to text section, go to definition. Same exact thing. We're just gonna kind of copy and paste this like right over here to text section. We're just gonna put it like right there. Yep, is equal to no. No. All right. And then honestly, apply delay, apply text effects just does all that. You know, honestly, if I had to do this, I would probably put it like right here. Super awkward, but it'll work. That means we can change this back to an output section. And then we can change this. Hold on, lost my train of thought. Yep. I really want to just make it a callback, because why have an event listener if it's only ever going to be one thing listening to it? Do I want to do that, though? Because that'll change a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Also, we can make this a rect mono behavior. Rect. Which lets us get rid of you. Which I'm 90% sure weren't actually being used. Okay. And speak section. So, reveal characters. It's about to get very, very complicated. Because my own system is too complicated. Yep, yep. Yep. Okay. Um, I am going to change it. So, we're going to go to output section, find all references. I want to find my empty section, which I don't think is really doing anything. It's all fine. Do nothing. So I'm going to come up here to output section. I'm going to put in a callback, I guess. Oh man, I'm gonna change everything, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sucks. I didn't want to do this for testing purposes. This is fine. System.action callback is equal to null. We're gonna come over here to text section. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this because we're gonna need it. Cut pow. Of course I made that params because I'm stupid. So cool. We're just gonna have to suffer through that then because other things are doing it. Which means that this needs to change and be first. It is as simple as that. Which is gonna suck because there's a lot of things that aren't gonna want that. And I guess that means I can make this a params. Might as well. We're gonna go ahead and put this like right there. So let's get rid of you. Ba-boom. Ba-boom. Mm-hmm. Actually, let's go and copy that. Come over here. We're just gonna paste this here. Okay. That is going to cause all sorts of compilation errors, obviously. Find all references. Let's try to mitigate this as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and say null. 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 I guess null as well. And null. That's super interesting to me that effects can be passed as a callback, apparently. Oh, also this needs to be. Well, that's actually a lot easier. Let's change this back. Null. That's actually fine. Okay, so we come back here. Speak section. This is all fine. We're gonna come down to here. I'm gonna go ahead and cite right here. System.action callback is equal to null. I was gonna pass in callback. Honestly, read section. That's all fine. So empty section is good. Output section, text section is also good. So yeah, here's where it's gonna get super awkward. Call apply text. So probably what I would want to do is like in the long term have a nice fancy thing where I listen for all of my text effects to finish what they're doing and then I call a callback. But for the time being, I'm going to be lazy and I am just going to initialize. I'm immediately going to call if actually can I do that? Callback Nope. Okay. So if callback does not equal null, I can't type callback dot invoke. Okay, that's very straightforward, and that eliminates the need for me to have this whole like text revealed thing. So I can get rid of that now. We can go through here and basically do that whole thing. Get rid of this and get rid of you. And now I can pass in system.action callback. And then at the very bottom here, we're just going to say if callback does not equal null, callback.invoke. Okay. And then we can go down to our base, get rid of you. Don't have to worry about that then. Oh, really? You can't use params? Oh, that's... Wait, what? Oh, right. Kabam. All right. Let's let that compile. And then... Oh, wait, no. I'm not actually done. Hold on. Conversation view. Right. So for this, ultimately, I'm probably going to want to get more information about what my data is, like if it's talking or not. Because I can imagine situations in which you like say to the king, you mention his dead wife, and then instead of talking to you, he just like has a little animation of him looking sad, and then a little bit of text shows up saying like the king does not respond, or the king grows distant at you or something like that. Um, for now, we're just gonna assume that you're gonna always talk. That's obviously not gonna be the case, but we're gonna change this up. So null, and then wow, that just gets all kinds of awkward, doesn't it? So I'm gonna go ahead and say private void on talking finished. Okay, so we're just gonna pass in on talking finished. Okay, and here is where we start getting fun times. I'm going to need a. Oh man. Oh man. Yep. Yep. That's a thing. Topics. Wow. Okay. Yep. 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 Cool. So we're gonna pop back over here. For now, this is gonna be super. I'm gonna put a to do so I don't forget to do this. To do. Need to get animation info per topic. Okay. For now, I'm pretty much gonna cheat. I'm just gonna do this. Tooltip. Public conversation ASCII animation. No. Actually, hold on. Sorry. This is ASCII animation using sleepyout.common. ASCII animation selector. Idle animation is equal to blah blah blah. And then tooltip. Public ASCII animation selector. Talk animation is equal to new. I'm going to put some spacing around here so that I can more easily tell these are temporary, which means I don't really need a tooltip for these. We're going to pop back over here to conversation view, and then we're just going to say avatar dot start animation data dot talk animation dot animation. There is no callback that we want for that, which means that on talking finished, we're just going to say avatar dot start animation data idle animation. Oh, animation. I was planning. At some point, I was planning on changing this, or not changing it, but adding an extra function that just took an animation selector and that'll wrap around it. Let's go ahead and let that compile. All of that stuff should be fun. Oh dear. System.action callback is equal to null. Honestly, probably the callback would. If callback does not equal null, callback back about woke. Maybe move this based on logic. Okay. I'm gonna let that compile. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna come over here to conversation. ASCII animator controller. No, I don't need this. I need this. I'm gonna go ahead and call public. Actually, hold on. We're gonna go down here to ASCII animator. Come down here, and we're just gonna do this. We're gonna have a public virtual coroutine start animation ASCII animation selector animation system callback action callback is equal to null. And this is going to return start animation callback, just so that that's a little bit easier for me to do in the future. So we're going to let that compile. That way I don't constantly have to keep typing animation.animation. I'll just be able to pass in the selector itself and know that my system can intelligently take care of that. This is for our map section. So this is going to be another system.action callback is equal to null. We're going to come back down to here, and then again, honestly, if callback is not equal null, callback.invoke. There's one more interactive text section, I'm guessing. Nope. Read section. That would imply nope. But I can go ahead and do this. Ho ho ho. Alright. Here we are. Dot action callback is equal to null. Oh, right. Nice. That one I don't even have to worry about. Rect transform. There we go. How interesting that I don't even need to do that now. Whatever. Alright. So all of that should be taken care of now. Woof. Woof, woof, woof. Okay, so for this, we're going to want to let this finish, if it will ever do so. I'm going to pop back over here, grab our conversation data. We've got our avatar assigned. We've got our controller and our animator controller again. So there's going to be our idle animation and then our talk animation. The color, oh, I should have kept this on. Hold on. I don't actually think we're using that right now, but it's still good to have. Okay. Rid of you and turn you off. Okay. So all of this is at present correct. Go ahead and duplicate this and make this speak section for the king. Go ahead and copy this. Paste this right here. And we're going to get rid of our text effect rumble. We just want it to reveal. All right. So with that, we should have one more thing to do, which is going to be replacing this with speak section king. All right. I think we're pretty good. So let's go ahead and try this. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. You know, actually, I guess the easy way to do this would be to return the actual topic and then just pull that out afterwards. So probably would change that. Where did I put you? Close some of you now. So probably at some point I'm going to change this output, this get response, to return the actual response or the topic data, and then I'll be able to just like grab the response from that, and then also grab the animation information from that. So that's a pretty straightforward way of doing it. Okay. I think we are good. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. So let's try this. Actually, before I forget, I am going to grab my menu and we're going to pull this in. I'm going to get rid of the king that is there currently. So we're going to go to avatar area, ASCII parent. We're going to get rid of king profile label. Continue there. And we're just going to turn that off and then hit apply. And then we're going to go ahead and turn off this UI. And then we're going to try it. So after all of that, after nearly 2 hours of animation work, in theory it should be integrated with our conversation system, and I really hope it is, because that would be very, very satisfying. Okay, we're doing well so far. Yes! Awesome. I probably should have much faster or much slower text reveal, but still. Let's go ahead and say boom stick. All right. Boom. Well, that's curious. Boom stick should have worked. Oh, interesting. Let's go ahead and say awesome, though. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop. I'm going to come down to speak section. I'm going to change this to be a third of that. So it's going to reveal about 5 characters per second. And in addition, because this is problematic, we need to go down to get response topic. I'm going to call it debug.log input.toDelimited string. I want to know what's going on there. Input keywords that contains any ignore case. Turn true. Go to definition for totality of our array and for all of our values. I mean, that should have worked. So that's gonna be fun. This has to be evaluating to false for some reason. So it's not quite as functional as I would like. It seems like we have a little bit of an issue with our parser, but on the whole, it is working. The king does talk, and he returns to an idle position when he's done talking. So that's pretty nice, actually. I am excited about that. Okay, let's go ahead and come in here. I'm going to say talk. Boom. Name should update. Let's go ahead and adjust that. I do have that set up to be in my data, correct? It's right. That's something that I wanted to specify. So I'm going to. Right. Um, yeah. Okay. I am going to populate the name based on something. Uh, actually, hold on. Let's just go ahead and go through here and test this real quick. Because that name needs to be dynamic too. It's possible that you can talk to a stranger, not know their name, but then after they say something, you'll know it, and then it'll in real time reflect that. So we're gonna go ahead and say talk. We're gonna say king. Still going pretty fast. You're going way too fast. You should not be revealing that fast, and I'm quite vexed that is happening. Let's slow you down to 1. So this will reveal 1 character per second, roughly. Which I'm not entirely sure why the previous time we played it revealed so fast. It should have been much slower, but so we're going to talk. Okay, we got our avatar up here. We're going to go ahead and subtype king. Wow, it's still revealing super fast, so that is clearly not a true reveal. Something else is going on there. So I'm going to go ahead and say boom. It is slower, which is interesting. So boom stick, I'm curious about. Wow, there's our problem. We're going to go ahead and come back over to conversation topic. Conversation view. Topic, check topic is going to take topic, trim, split. Really? Maybe I didn't use the correct separator then. Alright, fine. So let's go ahead and stop playing real quick. I thought that if you didn't specify something, it would just do it with the white char, but I guess not. So we're going to go ahead and say new char. Wow, I did that terribly. 1. Okay. So let's try that again. That would be our problem for that boomstick stuff. And also, you know what? While I'm at it, let's go over here to speed. So reveals per second. Are you even used? My God, you are. You're a int? Okay. That. Okay. So reveals per second, I actually want to go the opposite direction. What a weird way for me to do that. So at 15, that would be slower than 1. No, okay. So we're going to change this to a float, to an F. Then I'm going to change this to times. Yeah, we're going to totally change this up. So instead of doing this nasty thing, I say nasty even though it's one line, we're going to say float t is equal to 0f, while t is less than reveals per second, t plus equals time dot delta time, and then yield return null. Okay. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. Move this up to here. Kapow. We're going to do all this fun stuff. We're going to say this is equal to reveals per second. Then at the start of this, we're just going to say t minus equals reveals per second. Okay, that should make it far more reasonable. So if we make that 1, then this should take 1 second. If we make this 15, it's... Hold on. Change that. Time to delta time multiplied by reveals per second. There we go. That should be what I want. Yes. That is what I want, I believe. All right. So this should fix that annoying speed problem. Also, I should have reversed that, actually. Shouldn't I? I should have divided it. No. No. We're correct. Okay. So let's go ahead and play, and we'll enter something random. Okay. So talk. There we go. That's a much slower response. Okay. Making sure that he keeps talking. Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, it's super nice. Super nice. All right. So we're gonna do a couple of things. I'm gonna go ahead and add. I'm gonna make this 15, like it was. Talk to him real quick, and then probably I'm going to get some. Well, yeah, real quick, we'll do that. I'm going to come over here to conversation ASCII or conversation avatar data. I'm going to just add tooltip public string default name is equal to whatever. It's going to be name shown in the conversation view by default. Okay, we're going to come over here to conversation view. When we load our data, generate topic, so in open, I'm just going to go ahead and say name label dot text is equal to data dot default name. Pretty straightforward there. So that way it'll at least kind of show up on the right there. Okay. This is a little rough, but we do have animations playing inside the conversation menu. And in theory, that will open us up to having more interactive conversations. Because now you're not just going to have text that's like spat out at you. You'll see an ASCII animation, um, as well as having text that you can peruse, and also we'll be able to trigger complex animations. So, for example, an example of complex animations that I would like to do. The first time you talk to the king, he's going to talk to you about like what all you need to do, and while he's talking, there's going to be this little like animation playing out of the wizard showing up, and then like trying to fight the king, and they're going to be like basically plastic action figures smashing into each other while the king is talking. And then when he's done, that would fade out. He would kind of move from the side to the center again, and then he would resume talking to you. I am a little concerned because that's a lot of text. That's a lot of dialogue. That's a dialogue dump, an exposition dump. Not crazy about that, but all right. So we have our king. Oh, yeah. I probably should speed up the talking animation. Um, real quick. Let's do that. I'm gonna make that 2 frames per second. I think we're pretty good there. All right. So we'll play it one more time, and then we're probably gonna call it a night after that. I think it's made some pretty nice progress, actually. Pretty excited about this. So, to summarize what we've done today, we have finished a rough pass at the animation system for ASCII art. It is working pretty well, actually. We can trigger complex animations with ASCII art for our conversations. We can click on various topics. The king will talk while he is talking, so he'll actually animate. So that's pretty good. Trying to remember. Okay, so I think we're in a pretty good place to stop. Um, Announcements. We should be on schedule for this weekend's Devstream, so nothing really getting in the way there. That's pretty much it. So, productive day. I'm actually pretty satisfied with this stream. All right. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.